This is UN News Today with me, Connor Lennon. The headlines. Senior UN officials welcomed the 2-week ceasefire between the United States and Iran, but Israel intensifies strikes across Lebanon, and independent human rights investigators warn that violations in the occupied Palestinian territory are being eclipsed by the Iran conflict. The UN's senior leadership, including the Secretary-General, has broadly welcomed the announcement of a 2-week pause in hostilities between the United States and Iran. UN Chief Antonio Guterres called on all parties to the current conflict in the Middle East to comply with their obligations under international law and to abide by the terms of the ceasefire in order to pave the way towards a lasting and comprehensive peace in the region. He also noted that an end to hostilities is urgently needed to protect civilian lives and avoid further suffering. Jorge Moreira da Silva, the head of the UN Office for Project Services, which provides infrastructure, project management and procurement support, pointed out that, as well as killing and wounding thousands, the 6 weeks of strikes and counterstrikes have caused severe damage to civilian infrastructure, including bridges, roads, schools and medical facilities. In addition, he said millions beyond the region have struggled with rising prices of basic goods and access to food, fuel and medicines. And Volker Turk, the UN rights chief, expressed his hope that the pause in fighting brings relief to civilians and translates into a comprehensive agreement. The ceasefire has not brought any respite to civilians in Lebanon, however, where Israeli strikes have intensified, dramatically worsening the humanitarian situation. Some buildings in central Beirut were reportedly flattened by bombs with no advance warning given by Israeli forces. Briefing journalists on Wednesday, Imran Riza, the senior UN humanitarian official in Lebanon, said that hundreds are believed to have been killed in the strikes and hospitals are overwhelmed. Mr. Riza added that around 1.2 million people, nearly a fifth of Lebanon's population, have been displaced, with many living in shelters, schools or informal settings with limited services. Repeated escalations in violence over recent weeks have significantly increased humanitarian needs, raising concerns about whether aid agencies can keep up with demand. On Wednesday morning, Berta Aliko, the senior UN Development Programme official in Lebanon, had to cut short an interview with UN News' Ezat El-Ferry as a fresh round of bombings struck near her location in Beirut. Later, speaking from the safety of the basement of UN House, Ms. Aliko described the situation as critical.
When we spoke, there were 9 strikes that I was hearing them, and then are more than 40 in Beirut and are more than hundreds across the country. And so far, the Red Cross Director General has confirmed that there are more than 300 casualties of lives. We don't have good news. It seems like the strikes will continue during the day and the night. So let's see where this madness takes us.
And you can hear the full interview on the UN News website. And the US-Israeli war with Iran has eclipsed a surge in human rights violations against Palestinians, the UN Independent International Commission of Inquiry on the Occupied Palestinian Territory said on Wednesday. Investigators appointed by the Human Rights Council expressed particular concern for Palestinian communities which have no early warning system or protection, as well as Israelis living in towns located near military installations, and Palestinian citizens of Israel who have limited or no access to bomb shelters. The Commission called for all parties who have breached international law and targeted civilians in the occupied Palestinian territory and Israel to be held accountable and underscored the urgent need to cease all forms of violence and comply with international law. Connor Lennon, UN News.